Welcome to the You Need More Money podcast. I'm your host, Matt MANERO. I come to you from our studios in Dallas, Texas, every single Thursday. 10 a.m. Central Standard Time is when we record. You can watch this on YouTube, Facebook Live, but you can also get the podcast every time we put up a new episode on iTunes or Stitcher under the You Need More Money podcast. Yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm 400 miles from Hurricane Harvey. But the impact of Hurricane Harvey can be felt here. I mean, we're already starting to see gas prices increase. I think just overnight gas prices went up just 10 cents a gallon here in the Dallas-Fort Worth. I think that's completely directly correlated to the fact that the refineries are shut down there. I mean, this Harvey thing is real. The destruction that Harvey has caused in South Texas, the amount of issues with transportation, with roads being flooded, by the damage that's being done, the lost revenue, and of course lost lives. People have died through this thing. And lots of people were prepared for this. I mean, the reality was we had plenty of time to prepare for this. This wasn't like it just jumped on Texans overnight. I mean, people had food, they had sandbags, they had generators, but the floodwaters literally got so high that for most people, no matter what preparation they did, it wasn't enough. I mean, Mother Nature is the keeper of the cards. I mean, she makes the rules, man. We just play by them. And it has really wreaked havoc on South Texas, now wreaking havoc on southern Louisiana. And even though I'm 400 miles away and it's beautiful sunshine today, we're all still feeling it. I mean, my clients are transportation clients. These guys drive trucks. They drive tow trucks. They do delivery. They do construction. That stuff is completely shut down there. But there's a story that nobody's talking about. And probably nobody wants me to talk about it either, but this is a story that I'm faced with so many times since my brother-in-law got sick with cancer 3 years ago and he died 2 years ago. I have just seen it so many times in my life that I can't take it anymore. Why are so many people unprepared? Why don't they see the future? See, everybody wants to see the future the way it's presented on social media. Everybody wants to see it as, when I get my mansion on the beach and my Lambo. Well, what about if you get your shit repossessed? What if you get cancer? What if your wife has an affair on your ass? You see that coming? I mean, are you prepared for that? Because despite the preparation that so many people had with Harvey, most people didn't have boats. Some people had boats. And those some people have really become the unsung heroes of Hurricane Harvey. They took their boats, whether they were an inflatable raft that they had and they inflated it in their garage, or a boat that they had down at the dock, and they have saved hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives. Nobody's ever going to talk about those guys. The guy that just said, I can't get to work, but I'm going to put myself to work because I'm extra uber prepared with my boat, and I'm going to go help people. Because people do need help, man. The elderly need help down there in Hurricane Harvey. The disabled need help. The learning disabled need help. And only a few people were prepared enough to really be able to deliver that help. They bought boats. And they were able to help a shitload of people through Harvey. And nobody's ever going to talk about those guys. I wish those guys are the heroes. There's a ton of heroes in this Harvey story. The amount of fire, the amount of police, the amount of people that have flown in from outside places. My friend Grant Cardone loaded up his plane with toiletries and canned foods and stuff. He's flying his plane down there all on his own dime to try to help down there. And that's fantastic. But the big question is, when the hell are you going to help yourself? I mean, seriously, when are you going to get your shit together, learn from Harvey, learn from the sadness of other people, and get yourself prepared? Why couldn't you, if you were in Houston, Texas, said, honey, this one looks like it's going to be a humdinger. Let's jump in the car, let's drive to the airport, and we're going to spend the week until we all feel good that we can go back in Laguna Beach at the Surf and Sand Hotel right on the beach. And we're gonna enjoy the California lifestyle for a week because we're completely prepared and in control of our lives. I mean, that's the problem. We're not in control of our own damn lives because we only choose to see the good of the future. We don't have the guts to prepare for the bad. And most of us aren't even doing that. So the challenge is, man, the thing that you can learn from Hurricane Harvey is to get your shit together. I'm sick and tired of seeing it happen to people. See the future before it happens and stop dreaming of all the good stuff that everybody's got on social, which isn't theirs anyway. 99% of that bullshit is not theirs. They're in front of their buddy's house. I mean, I just saw a video recently about the Mayweather fight, and the guy was filming all the fancy cars in the driveway. Turns out it was his neighbor's driveway. It wasn't even his driveway. But he made the viewers believe that it was his driveway at a party that he was going to. The guy wasn't even going to the party. Think about it. What if you lost that major account? What if you got sick, man? I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day, a guy that I used to do a lot of business with. I haven't done business with him in years. And I called for him, and the receptionist said, yeah, she was very cagey about it. She said, yeah, he doesn't come in much anymore. And I made the assumption that the business had gotten so strong that he didn't need to come in anymore. But when I left the voicemail for him and he called me back yesterday, he told me he had a stroke. He's my age, 48 years old. He was working out on Father's Day, and then he had a stroke. A major brain hemorrhage. He couldn't see straight. He couldn't sit down anymore. Every time he sat down on a chair, he literally fell over. He had no control over his body. They rushed him to the hospital. 5 days in a coma. He said there was a 2% chance of survival, but it looks like he will make a 100% recovery from it. Now, he's been out of the office basically for 3 months. He will only work on Wednesdays and Mondays for the rest of the year until he makes a complete recovery. And guess what? The business is run like a top. They're having record weeks and record months. Man, you got to think this stuff through before it happens to you. See the future, man. Both the good and the bad is the message from Hurricane Harvey. Get yourself a damn boat. I mean, it's just an amazing story that happens all the time, and I can't take it anymore. I'm so sick and tired of people who cannot take control of their own lives, and they become the victims to everything that happens to them. And the sad part is, man, that some bad shit can happen to some really good people. And you might be one of the good ones. You might be working your ass off. You might be trying hard. You might be treating people fairly. You might be of high upstanding character. But that don't matter with your money. If you don't get your money right, you will get bitch slapped when things happen that are completely out of your control. And I'm begging you, stop living like that. So, I mean, let me give you a real strategy of a way that you could actually fix this. How could you actually prepare better for a Hurricane Harvey, or for losing your major account, or for getting sick, or your wife leaving you, or your house burning down? I'll talk about it from a business standpoint. In Texas, about 3 years ago, we had nothing like Harvey. I'm not trying to position it that way, but we had major rains that just went on and on and on for like 3 weeks, and everything started to flood. The lake started to flood. The streets started to flood. The playground started to flood. I mean, it was really crazy in certain of these low-lying areas. And where I keep my boat on a lake, it's called Scott's Landing Marina. There's a little hamburger joint at the end of the dock. It's called Big Daddy's Store, and they make these hamburgers. And when I would pull up to Big Daddy's with my kids to get gas for the boat before we go tubing or surfing or whatever we were going to do for the afternoon, I was always pissed that I couldn't get burgers, because Big Daddy's took 45 freaking minutes to get us a burger. So I'm not going to let my kids sit out there. They may be hungry. We'll go get some chips and shit while we're filling up for gas. But they want to get on the lake and have fun with their buddies. And I was like, son of a bitch, Was somebody at Big Daddy's going to get their shit together so I can get a hamburger in 5 minutes? I'm happy to pay you the $100 to feed everybody on my boat, but just give me a freaking burger quick, would you? Why can't you staff up, get your processes right, your systems right, so that when a guy pulls up to get gas for his boat, he can go right in, get hamburgers real quick, and leave and get back to the fun? They could never get it right. You know what else they never did? They never asked me for any of my information. They never got my email address. They never got my social media account. They never asked me to like them on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. And when the floods came, you couldn't get to Big Daddy's. You literally couldn't. I couldn't get to my boat unless I went to another marina halfway across the lake, parked my car, came down the ramp, got on a pontoon boat, and they would literally take me to my dock to get my boat, my slip to get my boat. You couldn't get to Big Daddy's to buy hamburgers. And Big Daddy's basically went out of business. They started to have these fundraisers for Big Daddy's, the people who had boats there, who like to go and drink at night and stuff. They had to have these big fundraisers to keep Big Daddy's in business. Why? Because they couldn't get their shit together and make a hamburger in 5 minutes instead of 45 minutes, stack and rack cash, connect with me on my email, my Instagram, my Twitter, all my social media things. And so that when the floods came, you know what Big Daddy's would have been able to do? You'll never believe how much water there is at Lake Grapevine. Bring your kids for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be able to walk or take a boat to Big Daddy's and eat a hamburger and watch the lake at record levels of flooding. Because they were still able to serve food, but you had to take a boat to it. So why didn't they connect with their users, with their customers, and say, we're still open, we could use your support, come down and enjoy this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with your children to have a hamburger at Big Daddy's and see this lake like it will never, ever be seen again. They didn't do any of it. There was no preparation. You know what they did? They made my ass wait 45 minutes for a freaking hamburger. They treated me like shit, and they didn't stack and rack any cash. And they paid the ultimate price. They lost it all. I'm telling you, for all the terrible that happened with Hurricane Harvey and all the incredible stuff that so many thousands of people have done to become the unsung heroes and help others, the moral of the story that nobody wants to talk about is it's time for you to help yourself. It's time for you to get in complete control of your own damn life and start visualizing the future. Every day, see your future how you want to do it, both the good and the bad, and then build a plan and a strategy to protect yourselves so that when the floods come to Lake Grapevine or the floods come to Houston, Texas, you can say, honey, we're going to Laguna Beach for the week. We don't got a jack with this bullshit. Now, that's the message that nobody wants to talk about Hurricane Harvey, but that's the way I see it. Why are so many people so tragically unprepared to be able to control their own damn lives? I'm your host, Matt MANERO. I hope you enjoyed another episode of You Need More Money. All this stuff is connected to my book. Chapter 1, the first part of the book is called The Wake Up Call, and I hit you right between the eyes with how far behind you are, what the data tells us, and the second part of the book is how you can fix it with the roadmap. So I'm your host, Matt MANERO, another episode of You Need More Money podcast. I appreciate y'all. Like it, share it, comment it, give us your support on it, and help us grow this thing so when the book comes out in March of 2018, it's a bestseller, and we can really help thousands and thousands of people get their money right. Till the next time we talk, thanks.